Thank you for being here. There's an event that's happened in recent years that some organizers are planning on continuing to make happen this coming weekend, and we want to make absolutely clear that this event is not permitted and will not be tolerated. The city is working as public safety is our top priority. We're confronting a lot of challenges around public safety and have been dealing with these challenges for over a year now. We've talked a lot with the community and the press about the increase in violence that we're seeing in the city. But we have also confronted issues last year with drag racing, with an uptick in ATV and dirt bike riding in the city, with large groups congregating together for these types of activities. And we continue to confront these. We're making progress. With drag racing, for example, we've seen a notable decrease in the amount of drag racing that we've seen across the city. And that is a testament to the work that the police department is doing. They have a specific detail that is targeting drag racing on the weekends. We've put in speed humps on Long Wharf Drive, one of the sites where drag racing occurred. And this year we've seen a pretty significant decrease in drag racing. Similarly with ATV and dirt bike riding, we have seen in general a decrease in the large groups that are riding throughout the city. In large part that is because our police department is working hard to hold people accountable, and also we have worked with our partners on the Board of Alders to pass an ordinance to require gas stations to not provide gas to people that are filling up ATVs and dirt bikes, and increase the fines for individuals that are breaking the law. We've got more progress to do on all of these, but we are making progress. And this East Coasting event is another example. Last year, thousands of people came to just around the corner from here, despite the fact that there was no permit for this event and never a permit given for this event, despite the fact that it is dangerous and shuts off many streets so that there is difficulty for emergency vehicles to pass through, putting residents at risk. And despite the fact that our police department told them numerous times, you should not do this because you are not permitted and you should not be coming to our city to do this. We have talked with the organizers multiple times and made clear to the organizers of this event that the event is not tolerated. And you know, I would say that the vast majority of people that attend this event are from out of town. And I find it particularly offensive that most of the people that are coming to New Haven would not do this kind of activity in their own town. New Haven is a place where people deserve to feel safe. They deserve to have a high quality of life. And we are telling people, do not come to this event. Do not come to this event. Do not come to this event if you care about New Haven's public safety. Do not come to this event if you care about the fact that we're devoting police resources to this event that we could be devoting to other things. Do not come to this event if you respect our city. If you do decide to come to this event, we are prepared and we will hold you accountable. We have a significant police duty on this weekend, and we'll arrest people if they do illegal activity. We're not going to tolerate this. So please do not come to this event. I'm going to hand it over to the chief.
Thank you, Mayor. So the mayor really captured the essence of what we want to be here and talking about today. So this East Coasting event in the years has grown in size. Last year being the largest number that we have had, and roughly maybe we had about 10,000 people here in the city last year, and it was very disruptive. Disruptive is a kind word for what happened. There was a lot of chaos. There was a lot of individuals who were not following the law, and it required police resources all over the city and taking away from resources that we needed for regular calls for service and 911 responses. So this year, yes, we are more prepared, but we had reached out to the organizers probably as far back as April, to try to guide them in the right direction. If this is an event that they wanted to have, they do have a large following, they do stunt shows, to be able to point them in the way that they would be able to do something legally. That did not happen. Therefore, this is a non-permitted event. This is not sanctioned by the city, and this will not be tolerated. Our officers will be working that day. If individuals, like the mayor said, are coming to the city, they need to follow the rules that we have set forth. Parking will be enforced, ticketing and towing will be enforced, and if necessary, arrests will be made. So we are asking that individuals who come respect the city, respect the neighbors and the residents that live in and around the area where this normally takes place. Also, there are many businesses along the route that the individuals come through and ride through and potentially perform their stunts at. We have a port here. We have large tankers who need to get in and out. There are business that happens every single day in these areas that need to continue, and we do not want to see the disruption that we have seen for many years only increasing happen again on Saturday.
Any questions?
Chief, can you talk a little bit about the organizers saying, oh no, this event is happening? Have they just ignored you in your conversations, or you, Mr. Mayor?
We have been very clear. I personally, along with Chief Jacobson and Lieutenant Rankowitz behind me, have met with the organizers numerous times. Lieutenant Rankowitz has met even more than I have met to try to be able to say, these are the ways that you go about doing this. And to not have this event, and yet it is still posted on their social media that this event is going to happen. So in terms of ignoring our ask to do it the legal way, yes, we have been talking to them. We have been very, very blunt about it not occurring if it cannot occur legally. So the fact that they're still going forward and organizing this event, they're disregarding our ask.
What would be legal in your view, or by city guidelines, what would be legal, a way that they could hold this event?
There's proper permits. So there's permits and insurance that the city requires depending on the type of event that they're going to have. The number of the event, if they're going to have music, if it's going to be a stunt show, there's a lot that goes into that. And we began having these conversations with them early enough that we believe they would have been able to go ahead and get the proper permitting and insurance that would be required in order to have the event legally. Yes.
They didn't do that, or you denied it?
They did not do that.
I think we need to be clear here, though. We told them last year that they were not allowed to have the event, and they went forward and did it, and it had a huge impact on our city and the resources. This is a group that doesn't care about the law, doesn't care about getting permits. And if this group had a track record where they actually worked with us and didn't have a significant impact on the city, things would be quite different. I had a very lengthy phone conversation with Mr. Canestri, one of the people that's organizing this event. And you know, the answer, my response to this idea that, oh, the city's not working with us, is not trying to give us a permit, you have a track record of not cooperating with the city. And for us to have many conversations with you about why this is having a negative impact on our city, and then you to still just flagrantly go against what is good for our city and what the police department has said, what's wrong with you? We have so many challenges in this time. We have challenges within a pandemic, with increase in violence in our community, with incredible economic problems. And someone that just says, I don't care about what the police say, I'm just going to do this anyways, I just question what's wrong with that person.
Mayor, you mentioned a significant police detail, so for you and the chief, what does that mean? How many police officers will be assigned to this, and will they be stationed on Forbes Avenue, or where will they actually be?
So we'll have multiple, we're putting together the detail right now. So the number of officers I don't have for you, but it will be a large number of officers that we're having to be able to properly staff and to keep our officers safe, to keep the community safe, and then to also keep any participants that do decide, even after us saying here today that this is not a permitted event, to come to keep them safe. We will be obviously in the area where the event will be taking place over here on Forbes Avenue, and then we will also be prepared for if we have the group move any place, so we'll have officers ready to be able to address and not pull our resources. We want to make sure that we're thinking about safety first and foremost for everybody.
Chief, can you just send them home? I mean, if they show up, can you just send them home and say, no, there's no event, goodbye?
Well, that's our hope, right? So that's what we're doing here today. We're saying that the event is not here, and individuals who come, you cannot park here, you cannot be here, you cannot, but we don't know the numbers that we're looking at, so we are prepared to stop the event on Saturday.
Was anyone arrested at last year's event, and if so, what kinds of activity are you arrested for?
So for this event, we're looking for anything motor vehicle violations, we're looking for parking violations, we're looking potentially for the ordinance violations. We would be looking for any criminal activity all the way up to inciting a riot. If there's violent activity that causes, with more than 6 people, like there are certain laws that might have not thought to fit into a situation like this that do fit. So we have been in contact with the state's attorney as to what we can charge and making sure we're charging appropriately. And if we need to charge, we will. If we need to charge after the fact, we will do that as well.
Was anyone arrested last year?
We did warrants for several individuals last year after the fact, yes.
So yes.
Yes.
So the larger issue of dirt bikes and riding in New Haven, it is a culture here, and some people will engage in it within the law. So what would you say to the general culture of what you'd like to see proper dirt bike, ATV activity in New Haven?
So you cannot legally ride a dirt bike or an ATV because they are unregistered and they can't be registered, so it's not legal to ride in the city.
So ideally you would see none?
None. It's disruptive. When groups of ATVs and dirt bikes come through the city, they come through in large numbers. We've had numerous citizens call being terrified because they've been surrounded. Whether the intention are to surround and to terrify people, that is what happens. So perception is reality. And also we've had incidents where rocks have been thrown and vehicles have been damaged along the way of the ATV and dirt bikes. Now that's a small number of what is anticipated for tomorrow. Tomorrow is motorcycles that normally come, but there is a group of ATV riders and dirt bike riders that will join, but it's less of a percentage that we're anticipating seeing.
Mr. Mayor, there's nothing you can do, or is there, with hotels who rent rooms to people who are supposed to be here for the event?
My understanding is we can't prohibit hotels from renting to someone. I would like to respond to the question about this dirt bike and ATV riding being part of the culture here. You knock on, and I challenge you to knock on doors in New Haven in any neighborhood, and you're going to find 9 out of 10 people saying, this is not our culture. This is not safe. We do not want this happening in our city, in any neighborhood. And there are many, many people that come to New Haven to ride dirt bikes and ATVs. So it's not a New Haven problem. This is a challenge that many cities on the East Coast are dealing with. People actually go to certain cities because they think that they can get away with these activities. And it disrupts the neighborhood. It puts people at risk. We just had one of the dirt bike riders themselves get seriously injured in a crash with a vehicle. This is not part of the culture in New Haven. And it's something that New Haven residents overwhelmingly do not want to see happen in our city.
Mayor, what's your message to the general public, folks that live and work around here? Obviously, I know you're trying to discourage people from participating in this event, but it appears, at least at some level, it's going to go forward. So what would your message be to folks that live and work around here?
Our police department is working hard, and as you can see, our public works department behind you is working hard. There's many departments that are trying to keep residents safe, and we have strategized a lot based on our lessons learned last year, and we'll be working to keep people safe.
Can you tell us one lesson learned from last year that you're going to apply?
I'll tell you one lesson learned from myself is that we need more police presence.
You mentioned you suggested an alternative. Was that just getting compromise from the city? Was there some other vision of this event that you guys put forward?
Yeah, I think if the group actually showed that it was responsible, instead of just saying, it's trying to work with the city, actually showed that it was willing to work within the laws, it would be quite a different story, right? But the group has consistently said one thing and then done another thing. And this activity on social media that we're seeing is just an example of the values that this group has, that it doesn't care about working with the city of New Haven, it doesn't care about policing, it doesn't care about the fact that it doesn't have a permit, it's just going to go for it.
You know, Tom and Paul Bass have brought up in the Independent, I believe, about Hell's Angels and other folks coming to provide security for the event. How does that work?
I don't know what to say about that. Providing security for whom at an event that is disruptive and putting other people at risk, that seems a bit ridiculous to me.
Is there any expected road closures or temporary parking centers in the area that
Do you want to?
So yeah, we will be posting no parking throughout the side streets and some of the main streets. That will be posted, and we can provide a list of the streets that will be posted with no parking. And then road closures will depend on day of. So we are preparing, if need be, so that we'll be able to close some roads. But as of right now, it's the no parking that will be, emergency order will be posted for no parking on numerous of the side streets to be able to keep the community that resides on those streets to not be disrupted or to minimize the disruption.
Chief, will you call for any assistance from surrounding departments or the state police to kind of help you out on Saturday?
So we've been in contact with our surrounding police departments, East Haven, West Haven, CSP, because there are some, obviously we're neighboring towns and also the highway that comes in. So we have been in contact. We will be in contact all the way through the event just to provide further resources. The state police has allowed their traffic unit to assist us on the highway and just to be able to be our eyes and our ears, maybe if if large groups are coming in.
Sounds like the Jersey barrier behind us will be used in some capacity as well.
Yes, they'll be used to help us to close some of the streets if needed. We will have the ability to move them across the roads, yes.
You guys have had a long week. Beyond that, your officers are already working double shifts. How frustrating is it that it sounds like these organizers, you've been talking to them, and they're just like, I feel great. Now you're just having to step up.
It's extremely frustrating. We had a conversation with the organizers on Monday, and we said our officers are grieving. Our officers are hurting. Our officers are dealing with a wake and a funeral Thursday and Friday. Have some compassion. If they were to say this event is canceled, the organizers, that means there would be no place for people to go, and we would be able to move people who did come in, who didn't get the message, away in an easier fashion. After that conversation, there was an interview with the New Haven Independent. So even trying to speak to the emotion has not worked. So it's extremely frustrating. However, we have fine men and women that are professionals, and even with all that they're going through, I am confident that they will be able to perform on Saturday as we expect them to perform under normal circumstances.
What does something like this cost the city with cover this magnitude?
So
I wouldn't give a number.
yeah, it's we are having to hire overtime. So this is on an overtime capacity for not only us, but we are working with this time, lessons learned, we learned that we need more than just the New Haven Police Department. We need other city departments, so those other city departments are providing us with resources as well.
Chief, can you say a ballpark number of officers that are expected to be on duty on Saturday?
Not at this time, but I'll be able to give you more.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you.